Hi, I'm Phillip. Welcome to Gargoyle Chronicles, where we're currently looking at the Bridge Brawl Finals. Each week, we take one board and sit behind one of the players, following along as he makes his decisions. Today's episode is entitled Brawling Cubids, and we'll be looking at Board 7 from Phil Markey's seat. But before we do that, let's talk in general about cubids when the opponents have bid two suits. Take this auction. If you want to Q-bid to show a limit raise in spades, which suit do you bid, clubs or hearts? My rule is, when the opponents have bid two suits, the suit you can't have is a Q-bid. The other is natural, if that makes sense. In this auction, if I had a good hand with hearts, I would have overcalled with one heart. But I might have a good hand with clubs. So two hearts is a Q-bid, and two clubs is natural. What about this auction? You are more likely to want to bid clubs than spades, especially if one spade promises 5. So, by the previous rule, two clubs should be natural, but I make an exception when the Q-bid shows support for partner's suit and raises the level of the auction. Two clubs allows us to stop in two hearts, two spades does not. So I play two clubs as the support showing Q-bid. So far, this is fairly standard practice. But what about this auction? Assuming a double of one heart is for penalties, it seems to me there is no need for a natural two-heart bid. So two hearts should be the Q-bid, and two diamonds should be natural. You obviously need quite a good diamond suit, since partner is presumably short in diamonds. This seems like a logical extension of the first rule, but I'm in the minority. It's more common to play two ways to show hearts. Two hearts shows 5 hearts and is limited. Double could be only 4 hearts and is unlimited. I'm not sure why we need two ways to show hearts and no way to show diamonds, but that appears to be the standard agreement. So we'll call my suggestion inverted Q-bids, even though frankly it's the standard method that feels inverted to me. Now, what if one diamond is precision? One could argue that one diamond is essentially artificial, so you in fact have only one suit to Q-bid, hearts. Surely inverted Q-bids make sense now. Weirdly, most players don't agree, at least not according to a poll I took on Bridge winners. It seems the most common approach is to bid the same way over a precision diamond as you would over a natural diamond. I suppose that means if you have a game-forcing hand with a diamond suit that you want to show, you have to bid 2 diamonds first as a Q-bid, then 3 diamonds natural. That seems odd to me. I can't think of another example where a repeat Q-bid is natural. I suspect if the auction came up undiscussed, most would assume you were looking for a diamond stopper. Now, take a look at this problem Phil Markey faced in the Bridge Brawl Final. The auction begins 1 diamond, precision on his left. Opener could be void in diamonds. Partner doubles, and RHO bids 1 heart. You might have a slam in diamonds. How do you get there? Phil seemed to think as I do. Since 1 diamond is essentially artificial, 2 hearts must be the Q-bid. So he bid 2 hearts. He realized his partner didn't agree when it went all pass. Chris leads the 5 of hearts, and Andrew tables this dummy. This deal was unlucky for the Outback acolytes, but lucky for us. We don't get many opportunities to play a 4-0 fit, so now we get a chance to practice. If we make this, we might actually win the board. They might be going down in 6 diamonds at the other table. Can we make it? We can probably manage 2 club tricks, 2 diamond tricks, and a spade. We need to score 3 trump tricks. It seems unlikely we can manage that unless the heart king is on side. If it is, we can finesse the queen, cash our side winners, and try to score 1 ruff. But we don't really need to finesse the queen. It's not as though dummy is going to be trump tight in the end position. If the heart king is on side, they can't stop us from scoring the queen eventually. I would probably duck this trick. It's hard to see how that can hurt, and I find that ducking tricks when you can often works in unexpected ways. Phil, however, chose to rise with the ace. He then played 3 rounds of diamonds. Chris roughed in with the jack. We need to score both the heart queen and a low heart. If we over-ruff, it seems unlikely we'll manage to score a low heart. Perhaps our best chance is to find West with a 4-4-2-3 pattern with the heart king. Then we can pitch a club and ruff a club in dummy for our 8th trick. Does this work? Let's say we pitch a club. Chris plays king of hearts. And a heart, we win in dummy. Play a club to the ace. And a spade toward the king. Chris wins but can't draw the last trump, so we get to ruff a club in dummy, making 2. Of course, if the king of hearts is offside, pitching a club might let them draw all dummies trumps and you score no ruffs at all. This is why I think ducking trick 1 is better than rising with the ace. You don't wind up in this position. Phil, however, chose to overruff with the queen. At this point, the best he can realistically hope for is down 1. He can lead a club to the ace and a spade toward the king, establishing his 7th trick. He does lead a club to the ace, but then he leads the 7 of diamonds. I'm not sure what he was aiming for here. There is no chance he's going to score another trump trick. By delaying the spade play, he risks not being able to score the spade king. Chris pitches the 6 of clubs. Shriram ruffs and switches to the club 10. Phil hops and leads the last diamond. Chris ruffs this and everybody overruffs. Shriram draws dummy's last trump while Chris pitches the deuce of spades. We now have a complete picture. East has 2 trumps and 2 spades left. West has 3 spades and the queen of clubs. To have 11 high card points for his opening bid, his spades must be ace, queen, jack. If East plays a spade to his partner's ace, West can cash the club queen, allowing East to pitch his spade loser and claim. Phil lost his chance to score the spade king and is headed for down 2. Shriram plays a spade to Chris's ace. Chris sees declarer is down and knows this is an excellent result, so he doesn't stop to construct the layout in the end position. He plays another spade, allowing declarer to escape for down 1. Declarer was always entitled to down 1, but he slipped up. Then Chris failed to make him pay for his error. Fortunately, it probably won't cost much. If his teammates are making game at the other table, the missed under trick will only cost an imp. You're up, Alex. Did they make game at the other table?
Hi, Philip. Joanna and Lee Chung weren't playing against precision, but they actually ran into a pretty similar problem. Peter and Adam play a short club, where a 1-club opening could be as short as 2 cards. The auction started 1 club, double. I know it's very fashionable these days not to stress too much about support for unbid minors, but I'm not totally sold. And on this deal, partner would really like to know whether your shortness is in clubs or diamonds, because slam is absolutely in the picture if you have a classic takeout double shape. Adam bid 1 heart, and now they were in a very similar spot to the other table. So what's the Q bid? 2 hearts or 2 clubs? To me, it feels like inverted Q bids should apply here too, especially if partner might have club length for his double. Maybe the case isn't quite as strong over a short club as it is over a nebulous diamond, but it's definitely worth a partnership chat. File that under things you really don't want to discover at the table. Anyway, Joanna bid 2 clubs. Peter sneakily declined to make a support double. I'm not sure whether he chickened out and decided he didn't really have an opening bid after all, or whether he saw that his opponents might have a misunderstanding, and he didn't want to make it easy for them to sort it out. Luckily for the Kuchung team, Joanna and Lee Chung were totally on the same page. Lee Chung understood 2 clubs as a Q bid. He bid 2 spades, and Joanna showed her diamonds. Lacking diamond support, Lee Chung tried to slow the auction down by bidding 3 no trump. He didn't have a club stopper, but he did have a heart holding worth protecting, so probing with 3 hearts didn't look right. The 3 no trump bid made Joanna's hand a lot worse. Her partner had heart wastage, and it sounded like he didn't have the club shortness she was hoping for. Still, she decided her hand was worth 1 more slam move. And maybe 5 diamonds was the better game anyway. So she bid 4 diamonds. When Lee Chung simply raised to 5, she gave up, so they played 5 diamonds, making 5. Joanna did score the beer card at trick 13. Respect. But tragic news, the beer card doesn't count when diamonds are trump. So maybe they should have played 3 no trump instead. Back to you, boss.
Thanks, Alex. The Kuchung team may have missed the beer card, but they did pick up 12 imps, narrowing their deficit to 4, so the match just got a lot closer. Be sure to like and subscribe so you catch the rest of the match. And if you have special agreements about advancing a takeout double of a precision diamond, drop them in the comments. I'm curious how other people find their diamond fits.
And remember, Bridge is the last game standing where humans still outplay the computers. Let's keep the edge sharp. I'm Alex.
I'm Phillip, and this is Gargoyle Chronicles.
See you next time.